Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to all of you out there, astrology friends. Just was showering and I thought, I have to do this video. I have to do this video. And the urgency that I felt to do this little extra, it is all about the energy that I'm going to talk about. And it's about the Mars-Uranus conjunction in Taurus that is going to occur around about the 15th of July. I'm recording this on the 13th, so we're feeling it already. From the 13th, you could say, to up until like the 17th of July. I was mentioning it in the new moon videos, full moons, monthly horoscopes, and whatnot, but I find it such an interesting energy, and I want to spread a little bit more information around. And even if you're just someone who's interested in knowing more about aspects in astrology, this Mars conjunct Uranus will be your cup of tea to learn about. Now, we're all going to have this. I'm going to explain it in general, and then looking at each and every sign of the 12 signs, in what area of life we are going to feel this energy. Now, it's quite rare to have Uranus around 26 degrees of Taurus. That happens once every 82, 83, 84 years. And Mars is transiting the whole zodiac, all the signs. It takes 2 years to do so. So every 2 years, Mars will be on the spot as well of 26 degrees of Taurus. So now we're going to have both of these planets, Mars and Uranus, on 26 degrees of Taurus. And we already had that conjunction, Mars-Uranus in Taurus, in 2021, in 2022, but it was earlier on in the degrees of Taurus. So I think the one was in January of 2021 and then in August of 2022. But anyway, what it means to say, and of course, 83, 84 years ago, we're in the 40s now, 1940s, that we had that again, those two planets together. But what I want to say is it's rare, this aspect. And secondly, what I want to say, it is liberating energy, for sure. It is like, when I think of Mars-Uranus together, I think about the rebel, I think about drastic changes, I think about drastic and radical actions. I think about, it's the fireworker, Mars-Uranus. It's one that can act in stress and needs to act very fastly. Hopefully they have a good Saturn, because otherwise it's the bad version of Mars-Uranus, which is being a rebel and just changing because of the change. But in a good way, Mars-Uranus is intuitively taking actions because you have all of a sudden an insight. Remember, this is all in Taurus, and Taurus is the slowest sign of the zodiac. No offense to the Taurians, but they are very stable energy, and Taurus is all about conserving. Taurus is all about, I keep what I have and I try to do that in the best possible way, and in a way in a good quality way, keep products for their quality and good qualities and whatnot. So you can only imagine that these planets, they are a bit weird in Taurus. They're not really keen on Taurus because Mars is very fast, Uranus is very fast. It's like lightning, and Taurus is slow, right? It's the cow is sitting in the grass and just eating and enjoying her meal again and again and again. So it's a bit of a weird combination, but nevertheless, what this shows, and I know a lot of, astrology is a tool, right? Astrology is not like, oh, this is going to happen and it's like some sorcery kind of stuff. No. Astrologers, they read energy, right? And you can use that in a negative way, and you can use that in a positive way. I always read to transform it in the most possible way. And remember, your mind and your thoughts, they are going to kind of focus on your reality, and how you focus on that reality is, for a lot of us, it's going to show itself in the external world. So it's very important how we manage this energy, because this energy is volatile for sure. It is very exciting for sure. And it is also unsettling for sure. Now, why? Because it's in Taurus. And Taurus is a sign typically that wants to stay as it is. You know, people who've got the sun in Taurus, the moon in Taurus, a Taurus rising, or some personal planets there, that either go for the situation that they know, but that is not so good for them, for instance, instead of going to the unknown, and which might be already 80% that it's going to be a better situation. So that's the downside, you could say, of Taurus. It's the pitfall of Taurus. It's really one of the most resistant signs to change. So when we mix that combination, it means that there is radical change possible here for structures and in an area of our life where we least want to change, right? And that area of your life could be your relationships. For others, it's their work. For others, it's their health, whatever it is. But it's an invitation of the universe, which is the energy of radical change in an area of life that is very stubborn. And being stubborn and being a Taurus has its good side as well, right? Because it gives the people who are very stable, who are very calm, you know, and being, for instance, a nurse and having a Taurus rising is amazing, because just by their presence, you feel calmness, right? But now it's not about calmness. Now it's about that area of your life that you want to keep stable, that you want to conserve, that you want to keep as it is, because it's known, not because it's necessarily the best thing to do, but because it's known. There is a shift here. There is a wake-up call, the universe calling to us like, please do change this. And it can mean as simple as maybe you're having this in your second house, and maybe you're having some assets, like big assets, like a house, a car. With the Mars-Uranus, it breaks down, right? Mars-Uranus, all of a sudden, changes, radical changes. And Taurus is, but you don't like that your car breaks down or your house breaks down or whatever. But ultimately, Uranus is never, ever, ever going to take away something that isn't good for you anymore, right? It's never going to take away something that still is good for you. Let's put it that way. So see it as a universe message to all of us that something can radically change now. And in the longer run, because these are cycles, you know, Mars bumps into Uranus now, and this is a very long cycle. You could say Mars is there in that particular area of your house, of your life. Is always a new beginning when Mars transits there. But now it's with a bit of a boom. And then you have 2 years away from it until it returns. So there's something that can initiate and that can start, and that is a lot about this expect the unexpected kind of circumstances around that particular area of our lives. So some people like this energy, you know, people who are already having some strong Uranus in their chart. What is a strong Uranus? When Uranus is on your midheaven, on your ascendant, or the ICMC descendant, or when Uranus is very strong in an aspect to your personal planets, then you're a strong Uranian person who needs in life that innovative, fresh, exciting energy. These people who do like change will welcome this a lot, because it's something that is stagnant in their life, which is that Taurus area that is breaking through. There could be a breakdown of something so that there is a breakthrough. And but others, you know, some people that are a bit more Saturnial, or who've got a lot more of stability in their chart, or maybe already a lot of earth in their chart, they will not welcome this energy. It depends on your character. But whatever it is, I always recommend when things are happening, like the universe, the energy around it, it's always better to go with that energy. So my first advice is, besides the expect the unexpected in a certain area of your life, also to go with that change and to welcome it. And if you're afraid of it because it's unsettling, go towards the energy of excitement, because being afraid and being excited, it's the same, but with that shift or that change, that the one is with a positive attitude in the mind and the other one is with a negative attitude in the mind. It's like I'm buying a house and I have to renovate. The anxious person would say, oh my goodness, I have to renovate this and that, and you're going to overanalyze and overthink. And the positive, exciting person will say, yes, oh, there's stuff to be changed, but hey, it's going to be fresh and I'm going to do this and that. So it's your mind attitude that is so important here, of welcoming the change and knowing that there is something bigger than you that decides, you're an element of the whole. And for you and everyone involved, it's better. Of course, it can be for some people, depending on their personal chart, and check out my website, if you want a personal reading. Of course, some people, especially the earth signs like the Virgos and the Capricorns, and especially when you've got planets around and about those 26 degrees of Virgo and of Capricorn, they can actually benefit from this energy because it trines this Mars, Uranus, and Taurus. It's a fellow earth sign. So they can, with trines, the change comes as well and is very unexpected, but it's welcoming, You could say, for instance, oh, my car breaks down. Actually, I'm having savings in the bank account, and I was planning anyways to do a shift of my car. And now I'm going to have a better car. And he was always breaking down the car. You see what I mean? So that is those trines. And for another person, that could be a financial disaster, or maybe like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? How will I go to work tomorrow? But there's always solutions, because during all of this is happening, the moon is in Scorpio, but it's trining Saturn and Neptune. So there's going to be some stability and inspiration to work through these energies for sure. Now, so Mars Uranus wants us to, actually the goal here is to break free. Don't forget. So for those of you who need courage, who've been wanting to do something with that area of your life that I'm going to talk about in a minute. If you've been wanting to do that and you lack courage, now Mars Uranus conjunction, it kind of reflects that people get a little bit more courage. They get a little bit more daring. They get a little bit more, the person in the Formula One that is doing it anyways. And so if you have an area of your life where you want to cut the cords, where you want to say, hey, I give up, I resign, or no, this relationship anymore, thank you very much. This is the best energy ever, because it's going to do it fast, and it's going to do it radical and with no turning around. So, so yes, a lot of energy for people who feel stagnant, who feel like, oh my goodness, I'm in a rut. Well, this is not a very boring energy at all. It's on the contrary. People who were born, look at people who were born with Mars conjunct Uranus. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, but people with Mars Uranus, they have a lot of that. They're here and there and they're everywhere. In their actions, they can act really out of the blue. They can really do stuff that other people think, what the heck are they doing? But they can, in a positive way, they are very innovative. They do stuff that is a bit alternative, but that is innovative, that is for society like this. And they, again, it's the nurse in the ER, for instance. When you're having this in your 6th house, for instance, I, once had a nurse, and she had a whole stellium in the 6th house with Mars Uranus there, and she worked at the emergency. But so you can use it for the good side, you can use it for the bad side. Now, typically Uranus, when Mars and Uranus come together, we need stability, because look what's happening with very young people. And who have their Uranus transits, around 14 years old and 21 years old. It's a bit more difficult to handle that because they didn't have all those Saturn transits in their lives. Every 7 years, we have a Saturn transit on a personal planet, whether it is a square, an opposition, a conjunction. So with Saturn, we get stability and we get security. So, and of course, when you feel more secure, you can do things that are quite risky every now and then, or that are quite more independent. Mars Uranus acts from out of independence, acts because it wants to be free. And it's freeing yourself up for sure. So for those of you who feel that they are in chains, it's the time. Know that there's going to be consequences. Yes, but Mars Uranus it's just a bit like Mars Pluto, right? There you do stuff and there is a change forever. You cannot go back to the old situation. Mars Uranus in a bad way, for instance, having this in the 7th house, you're married and you see someone, wow, and you're having sex with that person. That's a negative side of Mars Uranus. It's like working on impulses. You go, and then afterwards you say, what have I done? That's an extreme example. But in a good way, let's say you're single, for instance, and you've been single for 10 years. And now all of a sudden you see that interesting person over there, and Mars Uranus gives you that oomph and that courage to speak to that person and to get active with that person, if you know what I mean. So everything has, every energy is neutral and non-ethical, you could say, in the universe, but it's how you apply it and it's what you're going to do with it. So I advise you, welcome this energy. This is the universe speaking to all of us. And yes, it's a Uranus ride. And we will feel it already a little bit before that. So that's why I'm doing it. Another thing is, yes, it's on Caput Algol. The fixed star Algol, the name alcohol is derived of this fixed star Algol. It means like, you're a bit, going out of control. That's that fixed star, and there's a whole myth around it. Look it up if you're interested in that, the story around Medusa. But the thing actually is that around this story of 26 degrees of Taurus, you could say, yes, it's a bit Algol is a very negative fixed star, and it's this and it's that, but it's like a sort of a wake-up call. If we're not going to wake up to this energy, we're going to sit with it for a long time. And of course, that's okay as well. But Algol means that you might not see clearly, right? Algol and the actions as well. So what if you know this in advance? If you know this in advance, you make sure that area of your life, that you feel calm there, because out of calmness, you can intuitively do the right action. And that's called intuition. So I think on an intuition level, even if it's on Algol and a bit weird and a bit, weird, but you can still make sure that you're making in the moment, because Taurus is very much in the moment, the right action. So don't go for that fear-mongering of, alcohol and it's demonic and blah, 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 blah. Hey, we are human beings with a mind and a soul and a body. And if we know that these energies are around, it is easier to go through them, right? So don't let your head turn every single way because of these predictions of astrology. Astrology is here to empower us. It's not here to give us fear. And again, if you are a bit of a fearful person, when you're looking at astrology, stop doing it, right? And I hope that I never ever give you fear in astrology. Of course, that has to do with how you receive the message, but I always try to stay on that positive level and on that empowering level, because sometimes people really think that the stars are doing everything and they use it as an excuse. That's very algol, right? So we're not going to do that for sure. Let's have a look at what area of our lives we can free ourselves up. Let's focus on the positive. Let's focus on, yes, when I'm going to ground myself as much as I can. So do that before this energy on the 15th is going on. Ground yourself as much as you can. Go to sleep early. Have your 3 meals a day. Brush your teeth. All of these things. Ground yourself. Walk in nature so that you can deal with this electric energy, because this is electricity for sure. And believe it or not, I'm having this in my 6th house. And I'm feeling this energy in my natal chart, this transit, and I'm feeling it so strongly already. My whole routine is done upside down. And I try to enjoy it. I try to see it as exciting. And by neighbors, electricity was, and the whole street, no electricity. You see, that's Mars Uranus. And I thought, Veerle, how many signs do you need to make that video, right? It's time. It's time to give out a message. So we can deal with this energy for sure, but use it in the right way. Aries, this energy is in your 2nd house. So for you, this could mean all of a sudden your assets, there's something with your financial structure, boom, there is some new innovative energy coming in. And embrace it so that you can change it, right? I'm going to do these really fast because on another level, the 2nd house is your self-worth. So there could be a big amount of money coming in because you've been hustling, or a big amount going out. Depends on what you've been doing, but there's all of a sudden a new action that you can take. Do it to restore your confidence, to restore your finances. Taurus, the whole intro is for you. So you can expect, the unexpected, your whole life path, your work, your relationships, everything. So, and it's in your 1st house. So you are going to be unpredictable. And I know most Taurians, they are so predictable. They are predictable, and because they are quite calm, and they are the ones that, hey, when something happens, they're not gonna really freak out. But now they can freak out. They can freak out, like in the song of Chic. It can also mean that you're fed up with a situation with a partner, and that you're saying, this is it, I've had enough, I'm gone, and not with so much drama as I'm doing here, but you know what I mean. But use your intuition and you will be well. Gemini, this is in your 12th house, or you're going to have some restless dreams, for sure, restless nights. So in a good way, be active at night, I would say. Maybe you have to stay up all night these days because you have to work, or because there's a baby crying every hour. Whatever it is, there's a restlessness in the unconscious. In a good way, you could have epiphanies. You could have insights in blind spots and how you will tackle old patterns, for sure. Cancerians, your 11th house. It might not be just you, but the 11th house is your social circle. So a friend or friends could act totally crazy, and that you're saying, what the heck are they doing? And because of their behavior, that you could say, I'm cutting this out. Or you with friends are having some really strange experiences. Let's put it that way. Mars Uranus, very unexpected. It comes out of the blue. In a good way, it kind of cleans the air. If it has been like friendships or associations that you've been saying, I don't want to be here anymore, it could really say, Schluss, I'm done with it. On another level, it could mean an insight and action taken for a new goal for the future. Leo's 10th house, work. You could be saying, thank you very much, I'm resigning. So I've had it. And especially if you've been preparing this for a long time, this could really, really liberate you. This could really, really liberate you. On another level, it could come from the outside as well. Now, I don't want to say that you have to fear that when you're working for someone, they're going to say thank you very much. But what it means is that unexpected circumstances at the work office or at your work when you're working for yourself or but anyway, it means that there's definitely an opportunity for new work and for new actions around work. It also represents parents, so there could be a shift there happening as well. Virgos in the ninth, you're one of them, together with the Capricorns. This is fantastic. This is trining your energy. This could be a new, the ninth house is a new insight, a new mindset. It's like you are thinking so differently in the mind that your reality shifts for you, and it's in a positive way, like a different mindset. Like, for instance, what is a mindset? A mindset is like you've always thought that to earn money, you have to work hard. Maybe now you're saying to earn money, I have to, yes, do some actions, but then let go and trust. That's a different mindset. And because of that, things really, really fall into place for you and go forwards very fast. It can also mean that all of a sudden you decide, I'm going to school again. I'm going to school, I'm going to learn, I'm going to teach, write, that as well, travel. You could be very active whilst you're traveling and doing something that you've never done before. Whilst you're traveling, you're jet skiing or whatever it is, fast, Mars, Uranus, all of that is possible. Librans in the 8th house. Now, this is a bit of a darker house. It's a house that is hidden. It's a deep psychological house. In a good way, this is you being interested in the occult. This is you having an interest in the metaphysical side of life, and you're digging deep, and all of a sudden you're seeing it. You're having revelations there. You're tackling your fears. You're going through the fear instead of going around it or escaping it, which is a huge breakthrough for you. On another level, there could be breakthroughs when it comes to inheritances, money that you share with other people. All of a sudden, shifts and changes in that area. Also, sudden events that have to do with life and death. Scorpios, this is your relationship. So all of a sudden, Mars and Uranus there, it could mean that if you're in a relationship, they're acting so weird and so strange. What the heck are you doing? And this is because this person has been bottling up a lot of stuff. Mars Uranus is about freeing up. Could be you as well, that you feel that you have to have a sort of a breakdown in the connection so that you can break through. But in a very positive way, it can mean that you're going to do something together that is very exciting. Maybe you're gonna move and you're gonna sell the house and whatnot, and you're going to work together as a couple in another country and building up a new business. Whatever. It's very exciting, this Mars Uranus. Also, for people who are single, could be now that you're not so single anymore or something. But anyways, it's coming from other people. Sagittarians, your 6th house, like I was explaining, right? All of a sudden, your day-to-day routine, your work, it could be related to your work, that your day-to-day routines is upside down, and go with the flow if that happens, because it's for a reason, and it can be in the longer run have its positive side. But it could mean that your whole schedule is upside down, and you have to do this, and then you have to do that, and you're a bit more not having that. It's all the opposite of routine, right? And but at the same time, you can do new stuff, new jobs, new things, new projects. Also in your health, there could be all of a sudden something that comes out of the blue, and it can go quickly as well. There could be because you doing some alternative medicine. There could be a breakthrough there as well. With pets as well, you could be all of a sudden you're buying a new pet, and it's very Mars Uranus like. It could be very restless in the beginning, and you know the dog is sitting everywhere and it's pooping and peeing and whatnot. That's Mars Uranus in the 6th house. Capricorns, you're one of those signs, earth sign. This is super, super positive for you. It's happening in your 5th house. Wow. It could be all of a sudden romance. Could be all of a sudden a hobby that you're doing and that you're about to do. And it's super, super exciting, and it breaks you free and it gives you a lot of enjoyment. It could be a child that is breaking free, but it's in a positive way. So it's like an 18-year-old leaving the house and saying, bye, mom, dad, I'm going to college or whatever, or uni, university, all of that stuff. There could be all of a sudden developments there. There could also be a new kind of thing that you love to do that has to do with enjoyment, that has to do with your heart chakra. Could be, as I said, a new romance as well, or development, or you're saying it's enough, the romance, but as it is a trine, it's kind of easy energy. Aquarians, this is your 4th house. So this is the root of your chart. This could be sudden changes in the home. There could be all of a sudden something happens with the electricity. Boom, you don't have any electricity anymore. You know, the people who were, my neighbors who were having this, there was like a lot happening in the 4th house. Mars, Uranus there. Now, not every Aquarian is going to have that, of course. It could simply mean that you now have to, because of the circumstances, you have to work from home. And you have to mobilize everything, and you have to be quick to adjust and to act. It could also mean that something in the life of a parent shifts, and you have to adjust accordingly. It could also mean that, yes, a lot of activity at home. A lot of circumstances that are coming out of the blue, and that kind of, you know, your emotional well-being, your emotional peace, it kind of disturbs it. But again, remember, it's for a reason. It's in the longer run to be in that balance again. And Pisceans, last but not least, is in your 3rd house. So all of a sudden, you could decide to go on a trip, a short trip. Mars and Uranus in the 3rd house. All of a sudden, you could decide to learn something exciting, to do a short trip. As I said, you could have like arguments, right? In the 3rd house, it's communication in a good way. It's very, you know, clever insights that you're seeing. Oh yes, this is what I'm going to do. It's a busyness for sure. It could mean doing stuff with siblings and neighbors that's in a good way, is very exciting. And it's very, you know, it gives you that liveliness. In a not so good way, they are acting a bit weird. They are acting a bit out of kilter. And so it kind of gets you out of balance as well. But all in all, an energy that makes sure also cars and driving to be very, very grounded, because the 3rd house is also traffic. So there could be some sudden shifts there. Again, it doesn't have to be accidents, but, you know, be aware that you might be, you know, you have to go from A to B, and you have to do that through like a whole other area that you're not used to and that you're not familiar with. It's more a bit like that. Or you're going on a short trip and it's all like everywhere. It's not what you expected, and but you might have done things that you would have never done before, for instance, and some new stuff as well, and exploring there and being quite innovative when you're traveling, doing a short trip. Anyway, I hope the hair is dry. The hair is dry, so the video is done. This is the Mars Uranus. I wish you all the best with this energy. Adjust where you can. Take those intuitive actions for sure to get out of that rut in that area of life that has been stagnant for way too long. Thank you so much for listening. Subscribe, comment if you like, or book a reading if you like. Everything is in the comment below. Thank you so much. And till next time. Bye-bye.